start. So, well, welcome everyone to a new episode of the Women's Empowerment Series. And I have with me an incredible, beautiful guest, Caitlin. I'm so happy to have you. Welcome, my dear.
It's my pleasure, Hynd. I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm so proud of all the work you're doing and all the hearts and lives you're touching with your mission.
Yes, well, the Women Empowerment Series is really a series to where I invite incredible female leaders from around the world who are doing impactful work and who are really leading and paving the way for many other women so that they can believe in themselves and they can keep on doing it, right? And this is what you do. Aren't you a beautiful representation of that?
Every day, that's what we do. We just sprinkle our sunshine, dear, right?
We do.
Make it
So
real.
you're a mom and you're a mom of many children. How many children do you have? Five.
5.
You beat me with one. I'm 4. So I
There's
salute you,
still
girl.
time, dear. There's still time.
No, no more. We're done with that. But you know what I admire in you is that you are a lawyer. You have your own boutique law firm where you help, super high level people and transactions. But you also the counselor of the Farzana Foundation. And so I would love for you to introduce yourself to, talk about the work you do and how can you manage all of this with
I'm
5
so
kids.
delighted. I'm so delighted to share about the Farzana Foundation. And just as my background, I'm an international attorney by trade, um, with a background really of human rights and genocide, war crimes. That was my little specialty, if you will. But then I've merged into international business, free zones. This is my area of interest, but my heart always maintains that humanitarian ideology of, I use my efforts to do good. So I've done a lot of civil liberties work as well, Title VII work in America, and I've done a lot of advocacy for freedoms and various different types of freedoms and various different types of scenarios. But I most assuredly believe in the freedom, and the Farzana Foundation, which is an interesting, um, inalienable that I see longer term, is that the right to water. We have all the water on the planet, and we have the
So I
potential.
think we lost you for a little bit. So you are a lawyer and you have your law firm, but in parallel, you are also a counselor of the Farzana Foundation. This is
That's
what you
correct. That's a hat that I wear. So I'm
yeah,
using my skills to promote her mission there, to
beautiful.
scale it.
So what's the basic of the mission of the Farzana
To
Foundation? What
build
is
water wells in Afghanistan, to
wow.
literally create, because there's groundwater underneath the surface land, so they have to just access it in order to, just almost like oil, then just pop it out, just like a water
Yeah,
well.
drink for agriculture. Is it for what use is it for? Usually all those wells.
To clean themselves, to drink water, to wash their vegetables, to wash themselves, basic
It's really the
water.
basics.
So other than that, they're walking miles and miles to water. So I guess just as to put it all together for you, my background as an attorney really was never about go work in the top law firm and not see your kids, and this was not my idea. My idea is you go become a lawyer so that you can use your skills and use your passion to uplift other storylines and bring
Mm,
them to the surface to
I
bring
love
awareness. And that's the skit. So that's how I have the balance, because the 5 kids and the work and many different things, is that when you go a little bit further in your mission and you align it a little bit more intently with
Mhm.
your God soul driven
It is.
passion,
Yes.
this is the invincibility. This is the sacred feminine, divine feminine rising.
I love that. I just love this. So there is a lot of energetic and spirituality in the work you do, if I feel it. How do you weave
I
that
have a
in?
whole other business in the healing business, the healing module, the understanding the energy, the alignment, the frequency that you aptly discuss and you share with it. So sometimes when we're in that ideas and we want to attract, we're still dealing with these pain bodies. So because
Do
of my background as a human rights attorney, I connected to a lot of suffering and a lot of pain all
a
over
lot
the
of
world.
trauma. Yeah.
A lot of firsthand and secondhand trauma that you get from those stories. So that stays in your energy body. So part of our whole mission here, and I think we have alignment whether we realize it or not in this, is that we have to be free and clear in our energy body. So we
We
have
do.
to create this integrity, and not just our boundaries, which for women is a huge issue that we have to say no sometimes and not over deliver all the time without being underpaid in any way. It's not just even the currency, it's the currency of your family, currency of whatever it may be. We're always giving, and when are we receiving? But so we have to create that in our whole energy field. So we have
Hmm.
to maintain accountability for those blockages, even though it could have been that you were a victim. I mean, I was also a victim of domestic violence, right? So,
Uh-huh.
but you have to go into the core of whatever the issue is in order to eradicate it. So there's a lot of spiritual legal work, incidentally, how I look at that work.
I think it's the first time that I'm actually hearing this spiritual legal work. I think you're probably very pioneer in putting this combination together, isn't it? Because you a lawyer is a lawyer. It's very numbers and words, just like words, and then you bring in that part. How do you weave that in without
Well,
having
if you've
people?
ever been in court, in family court
Mhm.
or divorce court, and you see that people are really there because they really want therapy and they're really pained and they're
Yeah,
taking out their emotional pain in the legal system,
that's
and you
right.
see enough of that, you can really understand that these spiritual issues are causing their legal issues. So, as
Wow.
much as I can represent my client in their legal issues, when I have the client that comes to me that wants to be healing, then we're trying to get to the root cause as to why you get those storylines that keep on getting repeated. And we got to get to
Mm.
the seed point issue. And it's usually about the mom and the dad and that perception
Like
and are you
wounds,
worthy?
wounds that we carry. These are old wounds. Yeah. And when you heal that part, does the legal issue still remain, subject, or does it change usually?
Well, then, really, all your issues will dissolve once you become whole.
Yeah.
There is no you can't be in total harmony with your life and your purpose and your soul. As guys, can you hold her? As well as have issues that are debilitating you, because you can only be in one trajectory, either trajectory of evolution or trajectory of devolution. It's not going to
Okay.
be the
You
both.
can be, hold on, this is very important. You can be either in a trajectory of evolution or a trajectory of devolution.
Devolution.
Wow. That is so powerful.
It truly is, and it's every decision we make, everything we do. But it's that mindset of how are you seeing your life? Is it looking like it's evolving, or is
Or
it
is it
looking like it's
looking like it's going
evolving?
backward? Yeah.
But
Or it's
sometimes you have to go
dying.
back to go forward though too. So this the whole story here. When we really get a moment and have a panoramic view, so that then you can actually be of service. Because until you get through these issues, you can never really be of service because you're
Mm,
still in your head in your trauma and bringing these stories. This is like is the bait of the devil. Keep you
yeah.
stuck. Keep you in the
Yeah.
washwoman stuff.
Yeah.
And the low-minded stuff, in order to deny your spiritual truth, to deny your evolutionary greatness, which is what
Mm,
we have to, especially as women. And I know you're Moroccan, and I know my baby daddy is Moroccan, and
I
I've
know.
lived in the Middle East, and
I know.
I've dated plenty of Muslims and friends, even just had friends and understand different cultural realities. And you have to, and I've done too much work in this man woman dichotomy because as
Uh-huh.
a woman attorney,
Uh-huh.
forget about all the sexual harassment I have to have gone through my whole life.
Okay.
Okay, it's
Uh-huh.
normal.
Do you have to fight that you as a woman attorney, or do you have to help your clients fight that?
Well, it depends on the storyline because when you're an attorney and you're dealing with opposing counsel, it's pretty much it's the wild wild west. You're gonna get your job done, and I often say I hope you Google me because I don't mind at this point. I'm like I hope you saw Baby the Billionaire because that's my
I
secret
was going
name.
to say that's my second question, but let's finish on this before because you're too much excitement. So, but I really want to get to that one by one. So, I think what you're doing is so powerful because you are so bold and leader to be able to bring the spirituality because you believe truly in it in a very manly and very structured sector, right? Because law is so structured that when you bring that immaterial way of thinking, how do you back it up? And that's my
But
question.
it's because it's very interesting what you said because I'm a very great writer, and I say that with humility because I touched God mind with my writing already. Okay, So, so when you have ability to legally reason spiritual truths, you most assuredly get a different reaction as well. So, the higher you get in your spirituality, the higher you get in your intellect, because the seat of your soul is your intellect, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, it's the power of the pen, the power of the mind, because any reasonable, rational person, when you present them with reasonable, rational evidence, has to reasonably and rationally consider that. If not, then they're the joke, right?
Yes.
So I know how to talk to them. Okay.
I can see that.
To court, lawyer to lawyer, I know how to play the game. But
okay.
I know.
And then do you change identities? Do you feel like, this is spiritual, you brought the feminine sacred side. Do you use that? Can you be in court and actually, be that very feminine side of you? Do you?
I've experimented a little bit in this area, but because I started very young, graduated college, 3 years, went to law school. I did everything pretty quick. So I graduated at 24. My mother just died before the bar exam. So awesome. I kind of became kind of a dichotomized. So when I am in my law mode, I'm completely asexual. I don't find myself to be a sex at all. I just am a mind. But I'm aware, because I'm almost a genius. I'm aware of the impact that it plays with the audience and opposing counsel, my sexual capital.
So, well, I have a question here, because you know that The Legally Blonde is one of the fun movies, right? About this lawyer that's dressed all in pink. My girls are big fan of Legally Blonde, right? And she's like, I'm going to be a lawyer and I'm going to really be dressed like this. And is this something you ever played or you ever embraced as an identity?
So, that's what happened during COVID for me. So I've always been take myself seriously. I show up. I don't really get involved. I never work for a man attorney. I always work for myself because I have kids and they'll fire me anyway if I call them in sick. So I figured that out early enough. I'm not going to get a job. It won't work.
Well, with 5 children, you got to be your own boss.
Yeah, you have to. I'm gonna pick up my kids. I'm not going to go to daycare. I'm not going to get abused more by the system. And have other people raise my kids.
Yeah.
So, but then during COVID, when I have all the kids at home. Yeah. And I'm like, the world is going to leave me behind, a single lawyer mother. They don't care about you. I was like, you better pop off, girl.
That's true.
That's when I became Baby the Billionaire.
That's when you become the Bumby billionaire.
That's right, because I was not going to be able to practice law with 5 kids at home.
No.
Because you will die. Because that kind of holding the same frequency of that is literally an impossibility for me anyway, because those feelings are so intense. So in that zone of having to produce and fight against the man, especially because, there's a lot of real big liars. You know what I mean? Like I've had a lot of lying opposing counsels and people, you just wouldn't believe all the things people lie about. But so you have to work and you have to be sharp and you can't miss a beat.
No.
The feminine side of the flow and the dancing. I've always been a dancer.
Yeah.
So now I understand how to bring it together in a bait and switch operation, darling.
So how many years did it take you to actually be able to feel freed to be completely yourself?
Completely what?
Yourself. It's like, in the beginning, you don't, because you want to play in that, masculine field and you just, you dress like them and you just talk like them.
I know, that was such a debilitating part of my
We
life.
all did that, it was the same for me too. It was like in a very executive setup. I was talking about it today with one of my clients and we were looking at the branding and how branding changes, right? Like, I can see mine, it has evolved, it's more feminine and I'm just owning it. But before I was really like with suits, looking sharp, just looking, like dressed like a men's suit. Because that's what we did.
But the irony is, because now I did that in court, but then I'm at drinks with the male attorneys, and they're just all sexual harassing and saying all these bad sex jokes. So it's just like snap, 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 snap. You go through all these psychological snaps, and you're like, I don't even care about their rules of their game. I can write better than them. I can communicate to a judge better than them, and I know how to show up, and I know how to use my energy so that the clerks are helping me in the courtroom. The bailiffs are helping me win because I love them.
Yes, because they feel drawn. Yeah,
but that's the magic. You don't get to do that when you're in the man's suit and acting like the man's mind. You do that because you mastered the man's mind of how to present the case, but then now you've mastered the feminine mind of how to actualize, how to put it in motion.
You are amazing, but that's exactly what every woman's supposed to do as a leader.
No,
It's
I
like,
went through a lot of pain to get to that. I'm a mother and a father of
oh,
5
all of
kids.
us. Are you kidding me? Of course. And I can, I know you and I feel you and I understand you so well. It takes so much mastery of your emotional intelligence. I mean, you got to be
So much
on top.
mastery.
Yes, so much of it. And so
Yeah, well,
much,
the mastery comes from pain and awareness. And
yeah,
I'm a poet as well, right? So I write poetry. I have a couple books on Amazon, but the
you're
poetry
like an
has,
incredible woman.
has been the best therapy for me, second best therapy.
Mm.
Because when you're able, now you can't trust anybody with what you say. You can't trust anybody. You can't say anything about that you're upset about anything because everyone's going to judge you and
Yeah,
call people for you. Okay, you can't say anything. So you have to get out your emotions in a way that is mysterious,
yeah,
frankly, so that
mhm,
you can play the game
that's right.
because you have to play the game.
Mm.
So, well, you have to play the game in the sense of where I am at in my spiritual evolution. I'm playing the game because as I evolve, I share, and in
Yeah,
my sharing and in my spiritual poetry,
yeah.
I'm internalizing and understanding what I'm going through in order to set somebody else to understand what they're going through. Because
Mm.
100% I'm away shore. 100%, no man can have raised 5 kids and done this. This is not possible. It's not. I haven't met one man that could do what I did, and I did the woman part better than the man part, maybe, but
Mm.
not in terms of the productivity of my work product. And
Yes,
that's just you put your head down and you get your intellect developed. And I think
yeah.
that's the
And you
most
find the
important part about
time.
my other brand, Baby the Billionaire, is that
Yeah, so tell me about the baby. I was going to ask you. I think it's just incredible brand.
that's the fun
And I want to
part.
share it with everyone who's watching us.
That's attorney billionaire. Okay. So after all, can you just, I can't hear, but that's okay. So after all of the sexual harassment and all of the abuse and all of the projections from all the men that project on me because I'm smarter than them and they can't handle that I'm going to beat them. Well, what happened is that I was like, listen, after all this projection of all this, I started to understand my sexual capital and my sensual capital. At first, I was using my art photography as a way to heal from all the abuse I underwent from my children's father. But like, no,
Yes.
I'm really hot. Like, I don't care what you said, but like, look at the picture. You can't say that anymore. You know what I mean?
And look at your Bambi billionaire branding. I mean,
It's
like,
it's
ooh.
amazing, and it's about
Yeah,
the inner wisdom, the inner valuation, the inner knowledge, the inner way that these young women need these role models.
that's
18,
true.
19, 20. I'm in the library 5 hours a day, like completely a geek,
Wow.
and that's still why I look good after 5 kids at 43 because my mind is highly developed intellectually, which
Yeah,
then opened up to my spiritual gifts
that's true.
because then you can understand it and the more you can go through your intellect and not in your rationality and your reason because that's where it gets all the projections and all the societal and cultural limitations.
Mhm.
So Bambi the Billionaire is an idea and Bambi's World is a location and it is a place inside of your own beingness where
Oh,
you are now in the full control as a woman of what your valuation is. It's not about what someone's going to give you like this, okay, how much you're worth. It's not about how much your worth is on the streets. It's about what is your worth as a daughter of God. What is your worth as a woman that is showing and developing and evolving yourself? This
I
is
love
really
I love that.
having knowledge and wisdom. This is the most valuable thing for a woman to have.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
true because it makes you better a wife. Well, I've never been a wife, but it makes you a better mother and a
Yeah,
better member of society,
that's
and it
true.
actualizes your inherent gifts.
Yes. I love
So how
that.
do we
It's
gain
beautiful.
wisdom? We gain
And I think
wisdom through being
mhm,
honest with
mhm,
ourselves, honest with our mother's problems, honest with our aunt's problems, honest with our problems, so that we don't repeat the cycles, and we
mm,
get bigger, and we
mm,
open our shoulders broader, and we can carry more. And it's really all about opening up to carry more frequency so we can manage it. But then it's more than managing because we don't want to live in a place of, okay, thank God they all went to school today. I mean, no, you want to say thank God they went to school and they have their instruments and they have their languages and they're doing this. You know, we want to have more, so we have to expand for more. And I think that's what I learned the most in all these nervous PTSD things I've gone through is that you literally have to go beyond your physical body. You have to expand your energy body
and
just to
yeah.
survive, I think, depending on who's who and what you went through, because you
Yes.
have to go beyond your personal experiences and your personal senses. And then
Yes.
if you can expand and you expand into it, now we're talking about now we're drawing in our highest good.
That's
Now
right.
we're aligning with our highest mission. Now we're safe to get over our pain, so we don't have to talk about what happened anymore because we're over it,
Mm.
right? Because that's why
Mm-hmm.
we just chatterboxes. We're still therapying it. But once you over the therapy and you've come to peace, now you can actually get to your soul work. That the it's almost like the pre-credit. It's like all your pre-credits that you have to do is just okay, confront your trauma and your pain so you can get over it so you can actually work for God. I
Yeah.
think that's what it is. You can actually get out of your way and allow your divine passion, divine mission to just work and flow because you're not resisting it because you're scared to talk to people, or you're not resisting it because you don't want them to look at you, or you go through like all of the whatever your things are, right? We have these limitations based on maybe another life or this life or your mother, your father, your own soul inherent contract. So we have to take that time to expand. And I think that that's what, when I get overwhelmed, that's the biggest reminder and catalyst that I have used in my change is to just open up and broaden your shoulders. Just
Wow.
broaden your shoulders and open up and get the space. And that's where we can get overcome that overwhelm. Because as a single working mom, I almost died 100 times paying the bills. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I literally almost died paying the bills and picking up the kids and going to this and making sure that was my priority. But then you got to pay the bills.
And you
So,
can work
going through all of those traumatic experiences for me made me, number one, know that, listen, I'm not going to die for a bill. Like,
that.
I decided that like 5 years ago. Like, I won't die for you. I don't care.
No, no.
You know? But
It's true.
number two is what's really important. What's really important, and why are those situations are coming into your life so that you can master your reaction.
Right.
You can change that trauma that created the problem in the first place.
Yes, yes.
So when we understand that we're part problem and
Hmm.
we are the only solution,
Yes.
then we become empowered and not a victim.
And that's
That
what we
means
want.
it's hard, but at least we can work with something.
Yeah. And this is what we want. We want to shift from that victim attitude and victim situation so that we really feel empowered. And
And it's not to deny that you might have been a victim or I might have been a victim, but I can say into myself and my truth at this point of all I've gone through, I learned so much from my children's father, and I learned about myself from the whole cycle about of just why that was there, and I really am firm to understand that it was a gift from God to know. It's much important to know what you want and what you don't want, and whatever is in your life that you don't want, it didn't just arrive there like a mushroom out of nowhere. There
no,
was a root that was there that attracted that storyline
something
there, and
created it. It started from something. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Nothing happens just like that. There was an energy behind it that helped it grow. And yeah, I agree.
and that means you're in power position to change it.
Yeah. And
So
I
it's
love
a
that. I think, what I like about the way you approach things is that, when you talk about billionaire, it's like your own value. It's not even the money that you're going to attract. It's just you, yourself. You are worth that. You are worth 1 billion. And if we, each one of us really can understand how much value we all have, life would be completely different. We would not
I mean,
be.
your husbands will treat you differently. Your evaluation
You won't
changes.
be, because you won't be looking for validation anymore. You won't be looking for anything to come and tell you that you belong. You just be belonging whatever you are and deserving anything you receive. Yeah.
It's a game changing idea for everybody, and I think that as we can open up and appreciate that goodness and that truth that boils inside of us, it's our soul. Like
Yeah.
we have to find out what your soul wants. Like this has to be part of why you're here. I
Yeah.
think I was so obsessed so early with my intellectual obsessions that I wasn't even able to take a breath because I just had to learn all that I had to learn because that was part of my journey. And then you go to the bottom of the suffering, you go through the suffering, and then there's something beyond the suffering ultimately, and that's
Mm.
where you have to go, and that's where you have to stay. And beyond the suffering and your valuation as a woman, that does so much that literally, I don't think a woman should pay any penny for a household. I don't think so. Okay, that's just me anyway. Even though I do it all, it's fine. I believe in the traditional ideas anyway, so I think traditionally thinking in the way that a woman, her value is in her wisdom. That
Yeah.
literally is her valuation in the family. Because if you have a wise wife, you are a very lucky husband. And if you have a brain and you're that husband, you are a very rich man. Because that's how
Mm.
you build rich, right?
Amen to that. Yeah, I like that.
So my
Yeah.
Arab sisters know that.
Ah, because you know it. All right, you go. So, we have few minutes left, and I want you to really talk about the incredible work that you are doing in the Farzana Foundation. And I know that you have this big event. So, if you want to tell us more about it, and hello, so people are saying hi, hi.
Oh, good.
Thank
That's
you so much.
Farzana.
We had many people coming in and out, so we're so
Okay.
happy to have you with us and to
So
connect.
Farzana is an inspirational woman. God bless her. So she grew up in Afghanistan till about 9 years old and has a real mission. And you don't always find people that are truly aligned with the mission and the passion like her. And that's why I'm really excited and honored to be a part of the mission because it aligns with my heart. So this is
Yeah.
another little sprinkle sprinkle. If it doesn't align with your heart, we don't do it. We say
No,
no thank you, we say bye bye.
absolutely. That we're so aligned in that.
It has to be like that.
Great.
So,
Yeah.
Farzana is amazing in her true desire to bring water to the families and the children in Afghanistan.
Okay.
And when you have a heart like that, then you create a vortex of people that are going to come and uplift that mission that are still ilkly aligned. And we really just want to be in the same vibration because
Mm.
we are creating a new earth. And we can forget about all this other spiritual stuff. We could talk about it another time. But having the integrity of alignment is the most important thing right now in our life. So
Yeah.
her wanting to build the wells and her being also she's a personality. She has her own reality show. She's been doing a lot of great things just even in the social networks of New York City. So her bringing together her influence in her in her social circles and within the influence of the local diaspora Afghani community is that we're having another great big event October 27th to raise
Okay.
money to build more wells in Afghanistan and
Okay.
showcase beautiful things in Afghanistan. So anybody that is in the New York City area or wants to take a trip just for this event, October 27th, we would just love to have like-minded people here on mission. The farzanafoundation.com
Mhm.
is where you can get tickets for it and where you can just make a donation anyway. But all of the monies that are on top of what is just covering the cost are all going directly to the water wells. So there's
Okay.
a lot of different sponsorship opportunities too to get your name there, even on a plaque in a water well over there in Afghanistan.
Wow.
But it's really whatever your good is that you're doing is you're aligning with other people that are just good too and the good mission. This is a beautiful siphoning vortex effect that we're creating
Mm.
here with this. So I'm
Mm.
so excited to build water wells with Farzana and help and scale it. So my role is as an international attorney in my client base or my colleague base and expanding the the exposure for her to find like-minded alliances within the Afghani diaspora, but also then we have other countries that also need water too. So I think that the vision that we're starting, uh, that
Big
that
stand.
she's already started in Afghanistan, we're going to be able to scale that and drive a little bit more awareness to the water scarcity issue. I remember I was in biology 100 years ago in college, and I was like, why can't we just take the glaciers that are freshwater and put them somewhere, and then we could just drink that water?
Yeah.
And she's like, why don't you do that? I said, okay, maybe
Completely.
we'll do that too.
Oh my God, this is beautiful. Well, this is amazing. Congratulations for
Thank
such
you.
beautiful cause and for being part of it. And I know that you are, it's a key element in making this happen. And, we're going to drop the link and whoever is in New York to join you as well. And I congratulate you for everything you do. I mean, it's such a delight to talk with you. We can stay here forever, but this is our time up. And by Bumpy Billionaire, you are embracing that and carrying that such beautifully as a leader and as a lawyer, as a mom of five, and as an incredible
Thank you,
advocate for
sister.
development. Thank you
You
so much.
too. Happy to see.
Love you too. You're amazing, and hopefully we can see each other and give each other big hugs soon. And I hope that your event will be a wonderful success this October.
Thank you so much for having me and all your great work you're doing. And let's find new ventricles and new ways to do more for everybody.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.